Did you know that the coaching industry replicates systems of oppression and marginalization? Today, we are going to talk about how we can disrupt the coaching industry with Brigette Iarusso. Stay tuned. It is UNSERMON with Kat Kim. Misfits and mutants. Well, first of all, this is a really fucked up week. Okay. Let me just ground myself for a minute. I want to stay focused. I'm so grateful for the outpouring of love and support. And I also do need to take a break after this week. I am going to take a little bit of a hiatus from all of social media and the world and all the shit that's going on out there. For those of you that are new to UNSERMON, UNSERMON is where we take and we embark on a metaphysical exploration of God and spirituality. Together, we dismantle, we disrupt, we undo, and we unsermon. As we know, there are things that going on in the coaching industry and all industries that replicate systems of oppression and marginalization. And today, I have a very special guest on. Her name is Brigette Iarusso. She is an international speaker and business coach, and her mission is to disrupt the coaching industry. We are going to have an amazing conversation today. Brigette.
What's up, beautiful? How are you? How are you?
I'm so good. I just want to, you guys, before we got on, Brigette, she is hilarious, number one, but she was going off on what the vaccination, right? And she's like, you're like a stand-up comic. Have you ever thought of that, or have you ever done that? Because
yeah, I have.
You
honest.
have? Okay.
My father, I was in theater in college and high school, and my father wanted me to be a stand-up comedian, but I was too sensible. I wanted to be a lawyer. And my dad used to say, you know, honey, do what you really love and do what's in your heart. And you can always be a lawyer. Get the degree if you want it, put it in your pocket, and then go do what really brings you joy. And I appreciate my dad so much for that. God rest his soul.
Well, you are fucking hilarious, girl. You had me rolling, and I had to stop her because I was like, y'all, I have to get serious while I introduce this very serious topic, but I was rolling right before we press go live. Okay, Brigette, I want you to introduce yourself to us. Tell us what you do and how you serve your coaches.
So I'm the founder of Embrace Change, and I do coaching and consulting and advising, and I work predominantly with coaches, consultants, and healers that are deeply committed to anti-racism, that care about equity and inclusion, but they're entrepreneurs, make no bones about it. They're in business to earn a living, to live an abundant life, serving others, right? So I serve people who serve others. They're often organizational consultants, healers, folks like Lakeisha, who's watching, are the kinds of people I tend to commune with and have as clients. Maisha Hill is, like an anti-racism educator. So they're, coaches, they're consultants, but embedded in the work, there's a lens around justice and inclusion, no matter what they do, even if they're a photographer or a masseuse, right? Or a Reiki healer. The things that my clients hold in common, other than they're looking to grow their business and serve more people and not cause harm, is that they think about things like cultural appropriation and spiritual bypass and gaslighting people of different racial backgrounds, right? And so while on the surface, they may look like other entrepreneurial leaders out there, at their core, there's something very, very deeply, deeply, profoundly committed to systemic social change. And their business is just a vehicle for that systemic social change. And often the folks I work with, like myself, we come from the nonprofit advocacy sector, social justice sectors. I cut my teeth doing work as a coach, which is not what I called it back then. I used to facilitate groups in the developing world around, microcredit and organizing indigenous and farming leaders to get land so that they could grow food, so they could have businesses that would bring financial sustainability to their, communities. So, on the surface, again, I'm a business coach, right? Like I help people make money. I don't want to, occult that fact. Like I'm actually in the business of helping predominantly Black, Indigenous people of color, right? Women like yourself. At the top of my list of priorities always is that group to make twice what they're making, to stake their claim as experts, to become the visionary thought leaders that we listen to, learn from, and say are our gurus. Like I'm super fucking over a bunch of white marketing bros being the people that influence entrepreneurs because They lie, they make shit up, they sell garbage, and they're just in it for your money, right? And I'm not in it for the money. Like at the end of the day, again, I'm a business coach, but make no bones. My explicit purpose on this planet, whether I work with white allies, which I work with, right? I work with aligned allies, white presenting like myself. I'm a pale ass Puerto Rican Italian. And I work with people of color. But why I work with them to make more money is very specific. Because the system that we live in is fucked. And all the money and capital and privilege and resources and power lies in the hands of a small minority of white old men.
Yeah.
And the only way we can dismantle this entire system and take it down is not by opting out, because capitalism's not going anywhere for however imperfect or problematic it is. And I will never debate those points. It's hella problematic. We need women and leaders like you, like other people watching, like Lakeisha, like all the women that are in my communities, to disrupt the system from within. And when I say disrupt, I mean leverage power and privilege and money and influence for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. And the only way that's going to happen is when more women of color specifically and queer, trans women, people move up into the top levels of leadership and influence and have more access to capital. Spend and invest and move that money in ways that are less toxic and more inclusive. Yes. That's a really fucking long-winded introduction. Sorry. I feel like I talked about everything already. I'm done.
No, girl. Well, I already know this interview is going to be easy. I just have to ask one question and then you're just going to take it. I love it. You're going to take it and run with it. I love it so much. So I just want to back up a little bit, because even the people that you're talking about are people like myself and others. And for me, this was not an easy journey to get here, because I started off in the spiritual industry. I was charging high ticket sales. I was, up there. I was, I got invited to be on The Rock, the reality TV show with The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. All these things were happening for me. And then I began to notice, hey, there's something, what's going on here? What is this whole love and light thing? And, as people are dying in my community and outside of my community, I'm thinking, okay, you don't just think positive and make these things go away. So I've been on this journey for the last 5 years of dismantling myself and the grips of the consumer capitalist, extractive, white supremacist culture that has conditioned me to believe that I just need to make as much as I can for myself. And it has not been easy. Yeah, it has not been easy. I want people who are listening to understand that this journey is not just, I think I'm going to try a different way of practicing my business, and the next day you're off and running. It's not even like that. At least it wasn't for me.
You can manifest it overnight. Just like we manifest and attract racism, which is a perfect example of the spiritually harmful rhetoric that can happen when we take things that, as you speak about, can be helpful and useful, right? Certain tools around mindset and positive beliefs are certainly useful. But if you're not careful, you can completely fuck it up and take something that the intention around it is good, and it can be extremely harmful and negatively impactful, particularly to people with marginalized identities that have a completely different experience in the world, right? And that's the danger of even someone like myself with relative privilege to think like, everyone can manifest a 6-figure business overnight by laying in a lounge chair and just
all about your mindset,
just having a powerful mindset and getting into your pleasure and your feminine sensuality. Like, listen, I'm all about being in my pleasure. I laid in bed yesterday and took a nap and masturbated in the middle of the day as an entrepreneur, but that does not make my 6-figure business run. I don't make multiple 6 figures just because I did that. That certainly is it's helpful. It's helpful to do affirmations. It's helpful to think positive thoughts. But that alone and a few crystals, which again, I have several, is not what manifests, as you said, all the things that you've been able to create for yourself as a woman of color, right?
Exactly. And so when I realized that I was practicing this type of toxic consumerist spirituality, I was like, I need to stop and I need to redo this. So here's what happened though. I had like dark night of the soul moment, and I stopped. I had to take a break from my business. And so I stopped. And here's the thing. There's not a lot of people out there. There are not a lot of coaches, at least at that time, 5 years ago, that teach the things that you teach. So I am a businesswoman at heart, but I'm also a spiritual teacher at heart. I am not either one of those things. This is what I've realized. And so I'm in the business of providing a service and making money for my company to thrive. And I felt like I either had to do the bro marketing, I had to do all the things that everyone's teaching me to do, or I had to give it away, everything away for free. So it was hard for me to find that balance. And so I love what you talk about because you're so upfront with everything. I mean, you're not performative by any means. And boy, do I know what performative means now, because I am in a coaching program right now where it's very, very performative. It's like, we're going to think, 6, 7, 8 figures. And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about this stuff here. You know what I mean? But you, in your marketing and when you show up, you're consistent with your message. So talk to us about, here's the other thing I just want to mention that I like about your work, Brigette, is that you come with the business know-how. You come with the business experience. So you're not just talking about, oh, this is what you can do. You actually come with solid experience. So talk to us about what bro marketing is. Talk to us about how this perpetuates systems of oppression and how you see it is specifically in the coaching industry.
Oh, yeah. So, this idea of bro marketing is where marketing can be used to manipulate, coerce, create a mirage and an allure of the answers and buying easy solutions, right? So the vast majority of business coaching products that we find online are often quick fix or formula solutions. Even when they're packaged with femininity, empathy, spirituality, they can be packaged in any type of glimmer. But often these programs are run by an individual that discovered one trick that worked for them.
Wow.
And their way of creating a business or making money. They may have zero foundation in startups, in business ecosystem, in business strategy, business advising, right? Like I come out of working in Silicon Valley as an educator for 9 years, like mentoring and coaching and working with venture capitalists and startup advisors and accelerators and people all around the world looking at the seed of an idea to solve a social problem and then how to turn it into a business, right? So I'm grounded in like 25 years of that. And then you find online these marketers, and again, they can be packaged as bro marketers, like actual bros, but they can also be in the form of women. Packaging sexy, spiritual, easy, fluid, feminine business strategies. And again, this woman may have experienced great success for whatever reason. More power to her. Amen, sister. But just because one person experienced financial gain themselves and found a way to make a ton of money and take a lot of branded images, by no means makes them qualified to be a business advisor and business strategist. Why? Because formulas are fucked. Because a formula that worked for me is never going to be a formula that worked for you. And how that replicates systems of oppression is the vast majority of formulas that you're fed are toxic, capitalist, white supremacist, patriarchal, dominant culture formulas, right? And again, a lot of beautiful spiritual women don't realize that they consume without realizing all these toxic formulas from cruising around the internet and reading all this conflicting, confusing business advice. You need a funnel. You need a low ticket course. Don't run Facebook ads. Run Facebook ads. Don't give away your free content. Give away everything. Oh my fucking God. You could lose your mind. And the reason you can lose your mind is because 90% of that advice is not for you. And if you're a woman of color that cares about equity and inclusion and social justice and building a business grounded in those values, 99% of that advice is not for you. And in fact is counterproductive to what you're trying to build. But it's the prevalent narrative. It's what we're bombarded with. And it's on purpose. That is why Facebook exists, to feed you with toxic capitalist ads. The more money is spent on ads, the more you consume, the more money Facebook makes. Those people running ads might not even be making money. They might say they are, and their businesses are actually drowning because the formula that they sell is a formula that doesn't even work for them anymore. I know. in this toxic bro marketing industry, people out there saying, I don't run Facebook ads. Bitch, yes, you do, because I know you. And my coach, Jennifer Kem, knows you too.
Yeah, right.
So just stop lying. Stop saying you don't even have a team and you just lay in bed all day eating bonbons and your attraction marketing attracts people to your yard. No, it doesn't. I got an email from you yesterday on your private email list, and you're looking for an operations manager and a content manager and a copywriter. Because just like everybody else, you need to build a team. You need systems. You need a business strategic foundation that matches your niche, your values, your offer, your vision, who you are. And that is unique for everybody, right? There are certain frameworks and certain patterns to what makes a business tick. I will not deny that, right? As someone who's got years of experience, there are certain strategic layers to what you need to build as a foundation. That's, again, the problem with bro marketing. It sells the allure of the 20 steps ahead.
Yes.
And it doesn't tell you anything about the 20 steps it takes to get there. 100%. And it is so fucking harmful. It replicates systems of marginalization, oppression. It targets people that are hardworking, that have limited access to capital. It fucks their mind into believing they have to spend $20,000 with a coach to grow their business, and puts the money on a credit card. A young woman of color inboxed me just fucking yesterday about how she got roped into this kind of program, and I'm trying to coach her through how to extract herself from a program that's designed for people like me, right? So I'm going to say this. I'm not putting down $20,000 coaching programs. I literally just put down $20,000 to work with Jennifer Kem this year. But I'm growing a multiple six-figure business with a team of 5 people. I'm in a completely different place. I got Jen on Vox. She coaches me. She gives me strategic advice for where I'm at. That's why she charges me $20K. It's a different level. But these machines, these bro marketing formula business coaching machines, including ABC School by Ms. Marie and all these other garbage formula mills, are like, give me your $10, $15, $20,000. And I don't care if you're an early stage entrepreneur. I'm going to put you in my little machine, my washing machine, and I'm going to put the same freaking detergent in with all of you. And if I put enough people in that machine, 200, 300, 400, of course I'm going to get 20 success stories. It's a numbers game. And then all you do is you put those 20 success stories on your Facebook, on your website, and you pimp the 20 success stories. And then if you really want to capitalize in this new economy and new awareness around diversity and inclusion, you make sure some of those people are brown.
Throw in a little bit of color, right?
And then you, like, we're a diverse community. We want people of color. Yes, you want their money. You want their faces. You want their faces on your website so you can say you're diverse. But then when these women of color go into these business coaching programs, they have to deal with all the fuckery of spiritual white business people and white mindset coaches and all kinds of people that are like, if there's not, racism is not part of why your business is doing differently than mine. It's just a law of attraction. You must be attracting microaggressions. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you're fat and black like Lizzo, people look at you different and treat you different. Bottom line, I don't care if it doesn't feel good to say that. It makes you feel ashamed. I don't feel good about it, but it's true. It's true. The only reason people attack Lizzo because she wears a thong, it's because her ass is fat and black. You better believe that.
Right.
Let's not pretend that it's for any other reason. Because if a skinny, paler black woman who is closer to the ideal of whiteness is wearing that thong, queen, you look gorgeous. All the way, gorgeous, right?
You do that, and then put like some sort of spiritual quote right there, and then all of a sudden they're like a spiritual goddess.
So again, the coaching industry is not just a mirror for the world at large and the systems of oppression and the white supremacy that exists in our universe. It is a magnifier for it. It's not just a mirror. This industry, because of the extreme emphasis on self-love and love and light and personal development. And again, all things that when used with a lens of equity, diversity, inclusion, racial justice can be very beneficial. I am not knocking spirituality. I am not knocking personal development. I'm not knocking mindset work.
Yeah.
But if we're using those things irresponsibly through our, me included, white lens of privilege, because I'm still half white, right? Very much so. I'm going to be missing the mark and misunderstanding and misappropriating something that maybe works for me in one way.
Yeah.
And is not going to work for someone else in the same way. And again, that's all the toxicity that gets replicated in the industry. The images of what you should look like, what you should say, how you should market, and
how
listen,
you should charge, how much you should charge, high ticket sales.
Oh my God. And again, I'm not here to say don't charge high ticket. Like the number one thing I actually take a stand for is if you, and this is a message out there to all my anti-racist DEI justice consultants and coaches, you charge high ticket. You go out into those corporations, nonprofit organizations, and white-led industries with well-meaning, well-intentioned, good-hearted white people that want to do better. And you let them invest. You teach them, coach them into investing a lot of money in unpacking whiteness inside their organizations, inside their companies. Why?
Yeah.
Because there is a business case for unpacking white supremacy, white fragility, and white normative culture. Why? Because everybody fails and self-criticizes and judges and is fucked. We're all fucked because of that. We can unfuck ourselves by understanding how comparing ourselves to those standards and participating in this system depletes all of us. None of us are ever going to feel enough.
Yeah.
Good enough, successful enough, thin enough, rich enough, fuckable enough, any of the enoughs, because what we're measuring against is the standard. So a company that is struggling because their teams don't get along, their teams are not creative, their teams are not motivated, they're not making sales, their product development is struggling. They need DEI work. They need anti-racism work. They need anti-fragility work. But guess what? This is the difference between how I coach my clients. We're not going to package it like that. We're going to take that same bro marketing mirage of packaging caca in glitter, right? So you, in the bro marketing world, they package caca in glitter and then sell it to you. And then you're like, oh shit, this looks delicious and amazing. I spent all this money. And then it's caca inside.
Yeah.
I teach the Trojan horse flip side of that. I teach what I help and coach and advise my clients to do is you sell that glitter mirage. You sell, I'm going to help your company make more money. I'm going to help your teams be more productive. I'm going to help you have better sales. Truths.
Yeah. Yeah.
And inside that package that you sell them is the fucking juice, the beauty of teaching the DEI, the unpacking whiteness, the unpacking racism. But you're not selling that on the outside because ain't nobody buying that shit. Ain't no white VCs or white venture capitalists or white CEOs, even myself. I'm not going to plunk down $20,000 on a strategic coaching package to just unpack my whiteness. As much as that's what I need for leadership development, that's not what I'm going to spend my money on. So that's where we have to learn to understand the mechanics of marketing and branding and getting people to buy things and get people to buy what they really need, not what they think they need, right? So in my case, I sell making more sales, right? I sell building a business in integrity. Beautiful. Sounds like this glamorous thing. It ain't fucking glamorous. What goes on inside my coaching community is we are unpacking our spiritual selves, the darkness, the light, the duality, the constant challenges of what it is to be consistent and accountable and motivated to grow a business while navigating collective grief, racism, anxiety, PTSD being triggered because you watch some Asian woman that looks like your fucking auntie get killed and you're trying to grow your business in this reality.
Okay, can I pause you for a second here? Because this is exactly what I'm going through right now. So, this happened two nights ago. That night I had everything planned. I had, I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to be shutting down, next week. I had a promotional thing planned. And then this happened. And then for the life of me, I was like, I planned all this marketing. Should I go with it? Should I not? Should I go with it? Should I not? And I was like, I can't move forward with this, right? I can't talk about purchasing this thing when I'm just like, I had to like stop and I had to cry, you know? And so what do we do for like, what's your advice to someone like me, a woman of color who clearly, like many other women of color, are faced with these fucking tragedies in life? And yesterday I couldn't even do anything. I canceled my interviews. I canceled everything, and my eyes were puffy from crying. I think I'm going to start crying. But see, what do you do when you're going through this type of thing and you're running a business?
You do what you just did.
Mm-hmm.
You stop. That's how you break the system. You don't keep going. You don't tell yourself that you should do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel guilty or bad for calling it off, taking a nap, crying, getting angry, feeling whatever the fuck you need to feel, saying whatever you need to say, not worrying about how the business will look or you or whatever. It's exactly what you did. You knew what to do. That's my advice to women of color running a business during this time. Your business is going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Your clients that love you, who see you, the real Kat Kim, and love you for your heart and who you are inside, they're not going to go anywhere. They're not deterred by your tears. They're not deterred by your pain. They're in solidarity with you, just like me.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You can't do anything else other than just honor what you're feeling. Take care of yourself and surround yourself with other people that care about you, that love you, like me, that are never going to think any differently about you.
Yeah. Thank you. I intuitively, I knew that because I just don't have the energy to put anything out there and talk about sales or anything like that. While my Asian community is hurting so much. And I think you say something really important. It's like, no one's going anywhere. No one's going anywhere. The money's not going anywhere. There's no need to push. And just the fact that I am stopping, that is how I'm dismantling this toxic bro marketing, conditioning, white supremacist, extractive consumer capitalist way of doing business.
Yes. My client, Donnie Hill, told me about a woman that does something called NAP ministry. She's a woman of color, and her business is teaching people to stop and take naps.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
As a mechanism for, yes, helping you with your business, but also, like you said, the machine doesn't want you to stop and take a nap.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Let's talk about this for a second, because we're in the coaching industry and the machine doesn't want us to take a nap. Luckily, we are independent entrepreneurs. And if we wanted to, we could. That's one of the reasons why we got into this, right? But if we talk about people, particularly marginalized people of color who are working low minimum wage, they are going through this. I have the privilege that I can stop and take a nap, but there are so many people who cannot. And they're constantly bombarded by this violence, constantly bombarded by it, but they can't take a nap. They have to fucking keep going. They have to wake up, they get their ass up, get their children together, feed them, and go
to their nursing job, go to their teaching job, go to their essential worker job, because they don't get paid leave or whatever privileges, you know?
And no wonder why we have a fucking, epidemic of mental health issues. So thank you for that, Brigette. And thanks everyone for I see your guys' support in here. Thank you so much. All of this being said, how do we move forward? So someone like me, other women of color, coaches, people in the DEI, people, spiritual teachers like myself, I took a nap. Now what?
Take a nap. And then you constantly recalibrate back to your core values and your why. And you deeply embed that in every aspect of your business model, how you do business, what you sell, how you sell it, so that it always feels good when you're going back to it. It doesn't always feel good when you step away from it, because we step away from it when it feels too much, right? For whatever reason. But when it feels like it's good and we're energized and in that space of motivation, then we move forward with that clarity of purpose. And for me, it's about always understanding at the end of the day, what is the impact I'm trying to create in the world, right? So for me, again, the bus is helping entrepreneurs make more money, especially entrepreneurs with these value systems. And I'll say this again, people of color and their allies, right? So, you know, I work with white women who are deeply committed to building equitable, inclusive businesses. And I want to give them some advice too, if they're listening. It's like, don't be afraid to take a stand for your values and be crystal clear in your story and where you are in your journey. If you're a white woman and you're unpacking bias or unpacking your leadership, don't be ashamed to show up authentically and share that and talk about it. And as Lisa Denon Young says, who's a great DEI coach, normalize that journey. The more leaders online who talk about this stuff and normalize it as a natural part of business and making money, the more it will become the standard. So we all have to adopt these practices. And then, yes, we need to be strategic in our business. We need to understand who we're speaking to and how to speak their love language, and trust that you don't need to attract all the people. You don't need to speak to all the people. One of the biggest mistakes we make out of scarcity, and this is where we can get into the value of a thing like scarcity mindset. I had scarcity mindset when I started out. I was like, if I am really out there about my anti-racist values, if I reveal who I really am and how I really think, I'm going to lose so much business. People are going to think I'm unprofessional. They're going to tear me down and my business is going to fall apart. And the truth of the matter is, when I doubled down on my values and I got crystal clear about my truth, did some people leave my orbit? Oh, yes, honey. A lot of people unfriended me. My own cousin, my white Italian cousin, who got triggered and said, well, I don't know if you know who you are anymore. You know, you don't, bitch, because I was never myself around you. I was just my white self around you. I was never my Puerto Rican self around you because I wanted you to feel safe. But that's a whole other story. But so, yes, people left my orbit. But the number and the magnitude of the other people that I called in, the right people, has so far exceeded that. But there is a tipping point, and it is scary. And I am not one of these leaders that's like, it's just going to be fearless and flowy, and you're going to be like epically, sexily, you know, expressing yourself and everything. No, it's going to be difficult and hard, and you're going to question yourself. But when you really commit to being yourself, like Kat does, right? And sharing your truth and sharing your values and being explicit about those things, then the right people will be attracted to you. And then those people, now, is it just that attraction that makes a business? No, there are 5 other things that make a solid business. And I'm going to talk about them in my workshop next Thursday.
Yes.
You need a solid business vision. And I'm talking about just like a woo-woo vision of like, I want to be in Spain with my family, living in the hills with a beautiful house on the beach. Yes, that's part of my vision. But I need a business vision. What business do I have that allows me to live that life in Spain? I have a team of 5 people. I have a group program that is scalable, that gets people a great result. I have other coaches in my program I'm training that are going to be able to support my clients so that I'm not constantly only there for them, because I'm not the only one that can get my clients results. I have a CRM, and I have a software platform and a system that allows me to nurture and track leads and manage my business vitals. I have KPIs. So when I say design a business vision, a lot of people are like, I want $1 million business. No, that's not a business vision. A strategic business vision is, how many people are you coaching? How many programs do you have? And now you design the ideal. This is what I think it would look like. And then this ideal has to be fluid. It will shape shift and change throughout the whole journey. But you start with that strategic vision. Then you back yourself up from that vision, and you design a 6-month strategic plan, or a year. I like to work with 6 months. And you decide in those 6 months, if my goal is to get to steady recurring 20 or 40K a month, let's say, my first step on the bus is to get to 5 to 10K a month, let's say. I need to get to consistent 10K a month. Exactly how am I going to do that? This is where, again, it's not just about the vision and the woo. This is strategy. I need 5 clients paying $1,000 a month for my high ticket small group coaching program. I only want to have 5 people in it because I'm starting out and I want it to be high quality, high impact, high integrity, right? A lot of my clients, they think they need to do a course and get 50 people in it. It's nuts. They don't have any leads. They don't have a marketing machine. It is the absolute worst strategy. And I unfuck them from that and go, no, you just need 5 ideal clients.
Right. Yeah.
Deliver exceptional results for. They pay you $1,000 a month. You can go above and beyond and over deliver and over serve because you're valued and you're compensated and you feel good, and you can hire an assistant and let them help you. So you need a foundation, you need a solid offer, you need a solid niche, and then you need systems and support as you grow, and you need to unfuck your mind that you can't afford a VA or help. And know if you hire a woman in the Philippines, don't pay her $3 or $5 a fucking hour, because that's colonialist, toxic capitalism. And if you hire someone in the Philippines, pay them $15 an hour the same way you'd have to pay someone here minimum wage. I just need to make that point.
How do you, this is what I love about what you teach is how to, you kind of bake in an equitable system within your, like you have a different business model. Talk to us about how you create, or how does one create an equitable business model? Because I know one of the things that you do is I think 20% of your higher paying clients, it goes to your program. What is that? And talk to us about what that is.
Yeah. So I believe very much in equity and access, and not everyone has $5,000 or $10,000 to invest in a coaching program, right? So I've built up what I call free to VIP. And even at the level of free in my business, I don't give free garbage. A lot of people give free. That's just a marketing ploy or traffic funnel to get you to their paid offer. I create free content that actually creates results and transformation. So I have an entire 8-hour course library that I give away to anybody for free. I designed it at the early stage of COVID with the General Assembly. I did 4 free 2-hour coaching training sessions, and I covered everything I cover in my paid programs. I gift this to people. Why? Because if people are self-motivated and they have no money, they can't afford to hire me. I don't need to sell them anything yet. Let them get my free course, let them learn. And I've had people from all over the world take my free course, come back and say, I can't believe how much I learned. Now I want to work with you. That's my abundance model. Now, at the top of the scheme is I have a high ticket offer. I have clients that pay me $2,000 a month to work with me. Again, they're at a different level. They're already making 10 or 20K. They've run businesses. They know how to sell, but they're looking to scale and build a team and build a complex business model. And I give them very nuanced support, right? Very, very high touch. 20% of that and 20% of my mid-ticket program, which is a 6-month business acceleration program, goes towards sponsorship. So I can pay my team, I can pay other experts and pay coaches so I can serve more people. So if someone wants to join my mastermind program, which is a 6-month community, and they are a single mother with 2 kids, and they are on a discovery call with me, and they're 100% fuck yes to my program and to me. And then they say, but I'm a single mom and I have 2 kids and I'm on a fixed income. Then what do I say? Put it on your credit card. No, I don't fucking say that, because that's what my first business coach told me to do.
Right.
I don't do that because that's going to put that single mother's nervous system into overdrive. And the young woman that emailed me yesterday about the program she signed up for is actually physically sick because of how much she invested in the program and how she doesn't have the money yet. And she's
an epidemic within the coaching industry. It's a real thing.
I have people in my business paying me $2,000, and I have other people paying as low as $200 a month.
Nice.
To access my high ticket 6-month mastermind.
Right.
Sometimes they live in Mexico or Puerto Rico, and US dollars is not going to work. I'm not going to have them put it on their credit card. Now, I will put people on a staggered payment plan. Some of my clients are like, Brigette, I actually really want to pay you the full price for your program. I say, fine. Let's do this. I'll sponsor you for 3 months. And we'll check in 3 months. And if you're starting to make $5,000 by then you can throw me some money and you can double your payment down. And you know what? This integrity approach has never, ever backfired, because the fucking narrative that people aren't your clients or they're not going to get results if they don't invest high ticket is bullshit. And that's the systemic oppression that exists in the coaching industry. Just because a woman of color with 3 kids can't afford $2,000 a month does not mean that she is not capable, equally, if not more capable, because of how resilient and resourceful and incredible she is already, just by being a mother of 3, right? Let's not forget that, of getting exceptional results in my program.
Wow.
But is she going to get those exceptional results if she puts $2,000 on her credit card for 3 months and can't feed her family while she figures out her business?
Goes into anxiety and exactly.
No.
Yeah.
But you know what I get from my clients on sponsorship? I get emails 3 months in the program. Yo, I just made 10K. Let's have that conversation. I'm ready to up my payment plan.
Yeah.
Why? I didn't ask you to, because I want to.
Yeah.
And it's a completely equitable, respectful relationship of just like, the only challenge that this person is having is access to capital.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Not that they're a lesser leader, have a lesser service, or a lesser human. There's no victimization here. There's no disempowerment. This is a person that is equally, if not more capable, more empowered, more fierce.
Yeah.
They just don't have access, capital at that time. So all I'm doing is giving access for a bump up. And then they make money.
Yeah.
And I still make money.
Yeah.
And everything's fine.
I love
it.
it.
But again, this is not simplistic. Okay. So now let's zoom back. Yeah. This is not a DIY. This is for everyone. This is like, I've been building equity-based social impact business models, since my 20s when I was on the ground in the developing world. I'm still a white presenting Latina. And I have a lot of learning to do and a lot of unpacking to do about my whiteness. But I've done a lot of work in community with Black and brown women. I have Black and brown women advisors, coaches, mentors, helping me unpack my bullshit. Like Lisa Denon Young, God bless her. I've partnered with her around so many things. And I love her because she gives it to me straight. Because we have a relationship of mutual love and respect. And she'll tell me, Brigette, you did that thing and it's not cool. And you know what? I listen, I learn, thank you. I need to not do that, right? So if you're going to build this type of equitable, inclusive business model with access, if you're a person of color, just do it, right? Just like Nike says, then just do it if that's what you want to do. If you are a white or white presenting woman like myself, I do not recommend that you DIY building an equity-based business model. I recommend that you work with someone like me or Trudy LeBron or Lisa Denon Young or Lakeisha Angelique, right? You hire a DEI business coach, advisor, marketing expert, strategist to look at your stuff, look at your inner stuff, look at your leadership. Do you yourself have the skill set to coach and support people with marginalized identities in your programs?
Yes.
If you don't yet, no shame. No harm, no foul. Just hire a Black or brown coach, pay them well, bring them in as an expert. A guest coach or co-coach or just an expert in your space.
Or an Asian coach too.
Yeah, bring in any woman of color that is going to match the identity, right? If you have Asian clients, bring in an Asian coach. If you have trans clients, bring in a trans person or a queer person at minimum that has worked with trans communities. And or have them as an advisor and make sure first that your container is safer and more inclusive than the average coaching container. There is no such thing as full safety. Now I will say my coaching container is much more safe, much safer than others because I only allow maximum 30% white dominant culture identity people in my coaching container at any given time. So I made a conscious decision last year that Black, Indigenous, people of color, Asian Pacific Islander, queer would never be in the minority in my community, right? So my community is, always leveraging, leaning in that direction. And then if there are white folks in my community, they are vetted. They have received some pre-training around the community standards, community agreements, who we center, right? How we center. And then in my case, I also have a Black woman who's a spiritual coach, healer in my community that also supports the community, right? So there are, 5 layers of, you got to do the inner work on your own leadership and coaching. You got to do the strategic work to look at the container and the coaches. You got to look at your marketing language, the offer, the pricing, the structure of the sponsorship. And you have to make sure that it doesn't create any form of franchisement or marginalization, or is positioned in a way that makes people feel lesser than for participating in it. So that's where there's a lot of nuance, and that's why no business formula out there, none of the business formulas out there are going to teach this.
Yes, I love it. The way that you coach, the way that you build businesses, for everyone that's listening here, as you can tell, there are layers to this. There are nuances to this. This requires a serious commitment to social justice and equity in the world. And, the old business model is so cookie cutter. It's like what you said. I love the analogy that you used. Throw people into a washing machine and just push, and just make sure everything, just the more people that you throw in there, the more money you're going to make. And it's, some of that, not some of that, that is still going on in the coaching industry. So much of it right now. And it's really gross. And this entire month we have focused on this topic. And one of the things that I talk about in last month's theme is money, shame, and financial trauma. The other reason why this is so toxic is because these systems perpetuate more money, shame, and financial trauma. They get you in, there's ways that they teach us how to get your credit card number and charge as high as you can. And it's just, there's an epidemic of financial debt, financial trauma, mental health issues that are going on in the world right now. And we as coaches are here to serve. And let's not forget that. Brigette, you are a wealth of information. You are funny as hell. You have a sweet emotional side too. Tell us what you've got going on. So people who are listening now, you have a workshop coming up, but you also, if we're listening to this afterwards, I want to know how we can drive people to more of your stuff and your content.
Yes. And I want to self-promote, right? Yeah. I love it. I'm going to talk about my workshop, but before I self-promote, I want to make a quick footnote about this thing with trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma is something that I myself had not previously understood how critical it is to understand trauma, to be able to coach anybody, not just people of color or people with marginalized identities, myself included. Yeah. And so if you are a coach, including the DEI stuff and the anti-racism stuff, I recommend that we all get some form of trauma training, trauma certification. I'm going to be working on that. But for the moment, since I don't hold that skill set, I bring people in like Kelsey Debrusini and Alexis Douglas and my friend Lisa Kuzman and Melissa Lapides. They have great programs for coaches around navigating trauma, because again, that's something that the regular mindset and pushing through and stuff, it can be really harmful and re-traumatize people. And there's a completely different approach to creating safety for people with trauma to grow their businesses. So I wanted to put that as a footnote. And then what's going on next Thursday, March 25th, is I'm hosting a 2-hour free live event, which is all about how to elevate your impact and your income with integrity without replicating these bro marketing tactics. And that's where I'm going to teach you not my business formulas, but the frameworks that guide me and my clients, the principles of giving abundantly and freely and having a system to attract the right kinds of clients. And then how do you actually have an open, confident, consent-based dialogue with your audience or your potential clients about making an offer and get comfortable with sales and embracing sales. And the biggest thing that I'm going to cover in this workshop is the mindset and the energetics of working smarter and not harder. Because often as people of color, and myself included as a mixed woman of color, I was coded with the idea that you have to work really hard, struggle, live on nothing, save every penny. And those things were true for my abuela and for my mother.
Yeah.
My mother came to this country when she was 2 years old. My abuela didn't speak any English. She had 9 kids. And for my Puerto Rican family, they had certain conditions that required them to do what they needed to do for survival. And so a lot of what I unpack and talk about at my events is how we need to rewire and rethink our own potential and our own journey, because we've inherited those stories, right? So I'm going to be talking about the mindset, and then I'm going to be talking about the actual strategic aspect of like what we should actually do in our business, what we should ditch and not do, which might be strategies that are wrong, and then what we should delegate even in the early stages of our business before we think we're ready, so we don't burn out, because we need to be spiritually healthy, mentally healthy, physically healthy to create impact, to create money, to create abundance, right? To attract money. You have to be spiritually well. There's truth in that. And so there is truth in the idea of spending money to make money, but it's how you spend it. For you, it could be, for someone, it could be just spending a couple of dollars an hour to have a high school student come to their house and play with their kid, one student that they trust, a family member. It could look like any number of things, right? Or just hiring that VA for 3 hours a week. Hire a VA from the Philippines that says, I'll work for you for $5, pay them 10.
Yeah. Nice.
12, $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to help them, right? They're going to have a living wage where they live, more than a living wage. Pay them for 5 hours, 4 hours a week, and take stuff off your plate and give someone else a living wage, right? So there's all these things that I'm going to talk about, and I'm really excited, and it's networking too. So that's the other thing. All my events are just not for me to come see me like I'm the show. I have networking activities. I create a networking database, and it's all about building this disruption network. So if you come to my event, you're gonna meet like 20, 30, 40 people that you're going to want to follow up with.
I can attest to that. Because I've participated, I was a speaker for one of your big summits, and I've met some amazing people through it. I can attest to you really being in service to the people, like even, I wasn't in the audience, I was a speaker, but you were just like, you were so supportive of everyone getting to know each other. It was really beautiful. You definitely have a different way of operating your business. And so I want everyone to check it out. Check out the links. They're in the show notes. And Brigette, I know that you do coaching, you do workshops, you're always providing some sort of learning training. So you guys get on her list. Check out, I think you have a Facebook group too, the No BS Marketing Facebook group. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's called No BS Advice for disruptive coaches, consultants, and healers. But if you just put No BS Advice, I have 36 Facebook Live trainings I've done in there. And then if you go to my website, www.embracechange.us, I have access to that 8-hour course, which is literally just hours of free training that you can access.
Yeah. Everyone check it out. The links are in the show notes. Brigette, wow, this has been such an amazing episode. You guys, this entire month, we are focusing on pulling back the curtain behind the coaching industry. We appreciate you so much, Brigette. This is so great. Everyone check her out. And you guys stay tuned for the next UNSERMON, because we're going to go even deeper. We're going to talk about the racial inequities within the coaching system, coaching industry. Today, we focused on a little bit more of the business side of it. But in our next UNSERMON, we're going to go into the racial inequities of the coaching industry with Lakeisha Angelique. And it's going to be, I'm really looking forward to it. Y'all, I just love everyone who has been a guest. I love you, Brigette. I was drawn to you right away. We were like, and then, and we've been, really getting to know each other, and it's been such a great time. You guys, thank you for all the love and support. It means everything to me. I will see you guys in the next UNSERMON. Bye now.
Thank you so much.